What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Brain Waves, back with another one. Make sure y'all hit the like button when you come into the building. Salute to everybody that's coming through. I just want to come through real quick. I got a lot of wonderful things popping, and y'all haven't seen your boy in these YouTube streets, right? But I got to talk to you about this Cincinnati brawl, all right? This whole Cincinnati brawl, I tell you, it's crazy. YNs don't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people turning up, and what we're seeing is that you can't really talk. Like, I'm just telling you, man, this whole thing is crazy. What I'm going to do is go ahead and get the actual video up because there's two videos. I want to show the first video that sometimes doesn't get included in some of the footage, and then you're going to see the other part of the video. Okay, it's absolutely crazy. Anyway, what's up, June? What's up, Benny's Revenge? Let's go ahead and get to it. This one is from
on crime rates in Cincinnati. We're about to have a live report on that viral brawl that we've been talking about. Always helpful, I think, to look at trends before you zoom in necessarily on one incident. So here we go. All right, just start with violent crimes overall. Just under 1,100 violent crimes reported year to date in the city. That is actually down. It's 21 fewer than this time last year. But percentage-wise, the drop's only like 2%, 1.8%, which in relative terms, compared to other cities, is not much. I mean, 17%, if you look at other major cities, is the drop we've seen in violent crimes. I'm talking about places like Atlanta, Chicago, New York, what we saw last month compared to what we saw last year. Again, context always important. Now, homicides, 38 reported in Cincinnati so far this year. It's actually up one more than this time last year. Now, again, for comparisons, look at LA. 116 homicides reported through June, and that's down, okay, in LA. So their trend has been improving on homicides.
And let me just say something real quick while we're watching this, okay? Let me say something. Y'all know it's summertime. And y'all know ninjas be turned up during the summer. It's like folks don't know how to act. They just cutting a fool, doing all types of stuff. So if there was a time when people get extra, this is the time when they get extra. But nonetheless, I want you to see these numbers before we get into the actual footage. Because what you see as a whole, Cincinnati's crime numbers are down, right? We about to get into the brawl. Trust and believe, we about to get to it. What's going on, Lindsay? Look, Lindsay in the building all the way from Cincinnati. Shoot, we need Lindsay's footage because Lindsay was there. She actually was there. Anyhow, let's go.
It's 36 fewer than the same time last year. All right, it's just a quick snapshot, big picture by the numbers on crime before we talk about this video. Now, let's get to it, the viral brawl. And we do want to warn you, we've shown this, a graphic video coming in from Cincinnati. Police looking for the people involved in the violent street brawl. A video of the fight showing this crowd. Look at this, kicking, and you see a man getting punched, woman getting knocked down, so getting a lot of, look at that, getting a lot of attention. News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh live at Cincinnati looking into it for us, and he joins us now. I know police have identified some suspects. Is that right, Rich, in the video?
Absolutely, Connell. So the chief of police calls it cruel and absolutely unacceptable. I also spoke with the president, Ken Kober. He's the president of the Fraternal Order of Police here in Cincy. He tells me they've identified at least 6 of the people in that video, and obviously they've identified the victims as well. We talked about the video. He said when you look at the video, the police have been working round the clock to identify everybody in that video, and he's confident they will. You can see a crowd of people attacking at least 2 males on the ground in the footage. You see a man, a white male, we do not know his identity. He's hit repeatedly, falls to the ground. A group continues to assault the man while he lies on the ground. He tries to get up, falls again, disoriented. You can hear people cheering throughout this.
Man, this is wild. Okay, I'm telling you, this is straight up wild. We're going to get to another particular footage because I wanted to show y'all that footage. Now I'm going to switch gears and go to another video because I'm telling you, man, this stuff is out of control. Anyway, let's go. This is from Fox News, y'all.
Well, I don't know what you do with the people standing around watching. But there are at least 5 suspects charged in connection with the violent Cincinnati brawl that left 2 people seriously injured on Saturday night. The Trump administration is suggesting this should be treated as a hate crime investigation. And while it remains unclear what led to the attack exactly, it is very clear about how violent it got.
Now, let me make something clear. You got the president saying he wants this to be treated as a hate crime. Let me make something clear. That's exactly what it actually is. You see, it's funny how when something is done towards black individuals by white individuals, then they want to holler racist, they want to holler hate. But now that a bunch of black individuals have done something to white individuals, or however many parties involved, I know it's at least 2 males that are white that were injured, or that were jumped, rather. That's the proper term that we'll say in these streets. They don't want to like claim that it's a hate crime, but that's exactly what it is. It's a hate crime. I'm telling you, man. Listen, if it was one-on-one, that's one thing. But you jumping somebody like that's a hate crime. And that just ramps it up to a whole nother level. But anyway, let's go.
One of the most disturbing parts of the story is how many people were just standing around watching. Well, clearly not just watching, because we have so much video of it.
And that's another problem that we have. People don't want to get involved anymore. People don't help anymore. Listen, it's like this in these YouTube streets. You got these sorry content creators, right? Who need to get a life. You got these sorry content creators out there who all they do is spend their time talking bad about people, creating false narratives about people, just doing all type, just dragging people into YouTube streets, right? And none of what they're doing is true. And guess what? Do you think anybody does anything? No, they stand by, watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos. Look, people will share that type of videos. But when you're talking about the truth, you're talking about what's going on, they're not going to share. They're not going to hit the like button. They're just going to sit on it. You see? You see how it works? Well, the same thing here. People was watching this go on. Where's the vigilantes? Where's the good citizens? Where are the people that would get involved? Where are the people that would even the numbers? Y'all remember when we had the riverboat situation? Y'all remember the whole riverboat situation with the smashing the chairs and all this stuff? You had citizens that got involved to even the playing field. Where were the citizens that get involved to quote unquote even the playing field? Or even if they didn't even the playing field, because I'm not saying that that's right, but they just didn't do it. Even if they didn't even the playing field, where were the citizens to actually get involved with calling for help? Watch this, y'all. This is crazy.
They were on their phones. One person called 911. Now, here's a warning. Some of what you'll see obviously is disturbing, maybe even graphic.
And because the news outlets have given you a warning, obviously I don't have to give you a warning because you heard it twice from the news and media outlets. Let's go.
So now let's go to Brian Yennis, who's in the studio to take us through all of this. Brian, this video went viral, and parts of it are really hard to watch.
Yeah, absolutely very difficult to watch, Harris. The charges against the 5 suspects are sealed, and we don't even know yet how many, if any, have been arrested. Cincinnati's police chief says we can anticipate, though, more charges against more people. Now, look, the video shows a white man being punched and kicked by a group of black people in downtown Cincinnati on Saturday at 3 a.m. The police have not said how or why this started. The police chief says alcohol played a significant role, and they've characterized it as a sudden dispute following a verbal altercation. Now,
you see that, young niggas? Uh-oh, I said the word. I hit my quota. I slipped up. Where's my laughter track? Where's my laughter track? Y'all know that's what YNs are. Don't act like y'all ain't never heard the word. Okay? We all heard the word before. These YNs, they was tipsy on that alcohol, on that bubbly. And they was feeling themselves. And they felt like they could just go ahead and take these type of matters in their own hands. Let's go.
in the brawl, a woman appearing to try to protect the man is sucker punched by another man, appearing to be knocked unconscious. Cincinnati's police chief says 100 people watched or were involved, yet only one person called 911.
I think what they should be angry about is nobody called the police. That is unacceptable, to not call the police when you view this. Traffic was horrendous. People saw this. They were fighting in front of traffic. Why didn't somebody call us?
Vice President J.D. Vance spoke about this yesterday while in Ohio. Listen.
What I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. When you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time.
Now, I do want to talk about that. You see, one of the things that a lot of people aren't talking about with the brawl is the fact that you had a grown man literally sucker punch a woman running up. And that woman was just running up to try to actually help old dude get out of the situation. Guess what he did? He didn't slap her. He didn't push her back. He didn't restrain her. He sucker punched her and knocked her out cold. Does anybody see anything wrong with that? Y'all think it's okay for a grown man to just sucker punch a woman? It's one thing if you knock another dude out, man to man, but you go sucker punch a woman and knock that woman out? See, this needs to be a conversation that we having in these streets, because this type of behavior shouldn't be tolerated. And you know what you're gonna find? You're gonna find a lot of content creators, right? That's in the black community. You know what I'm talking about. They in the black community. They act like they pro-black, they so black, black this, black that, blackity, black, black. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I need my laughter track. What they're gonna do is they're gonna try to make it seem like they're not gonna cover this issue. Why? Because it's a bunch of black guys jumping a white guy. See, that's discriminatory. That's racist. And we're gonna talk about these content creators that do that. You see, a lot of content creators act like when somebody white do something to them, then they want to try to talk about it. But when they actually do wrong to somebody white, then they want to act like they don't see what's going on. They want to act like it don't take place. So we're going to be calling these content creators out because they want to jump and talk about every breaking news and every breaking story. But when it comes to making the so-called black community look bad, because this makes the black community look bad. This make it look like everybody that's black. It make us look like we thugs, we hoodlums, we just drinking, we fighting. It does not make us look good. So where are these content creators who claim they pro-black to speak up about this? Why are they quiet? Why are they silent? Why aren't they speaking up about it? They want to talk about everything else. They want to talk about all the white people that's dead and gone. Ozzy Osbourne, they want to make videos about Ozzy Osbourne. They want to make videos about Hulk Hogan. You get me, right? They want to talk about white people when it comes to that. So let me get this straight. Black content creators can capitalize off of getting money off of somebody white. But when it comes to talking about a situation that deals with white and black, and them actually having to hold black folks accountable, they don't want to make the content, huh? But see, that tell you their true motives. It's a lot of people that are discriminatory. And when you hear about this as being titled as a hate crime, you got to stop and think. A lot of these content creators, just like the bystanders who stood there and watched it happen and then try to get help, then call for help. Same thing goes on with these content creators. Let's go.
The Trump administration's Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Harmeet Dillon, suggested hate crime charges could be filed. Quote, our federal hate crime laws apply to all Americans. We at Civil Rights will monitor closely how local authorities handle this attack. Now, Harris, Cincinnati police chief, warned yesterday the social media video does not depict the entire incident. One video, for instance, we've seen shows other people that perhaps were being beaten down as well, not just the one man. And I will also point out that there has been criticism from Republican Senator Bernie Moreno against the mayor, Pureval, of Cincinnati for waiting, what he says, 2 days to release a statement. And he says that he had not contacted any of the victims as of yesterday when that statement came out.
Well, look, it doesn't surprise me that we're going to see the proceeds of more video in all of this. We should see a lot. People were standing around with their cell phones taking pictures and videos instead of calling for help. I understood it took 6 minutes for anybody to get there, and there was no ambulance in the area. I mean, that woman on the ground, that's a lot. Brian, thank you.
Of course.
And you know, speaking of that woman on the ground, that woman could have lost her life. And you had a bunch of ninjas just standing there, not trying to get help. Nobody was trying to call. They just gonna sit back and watch it. Listen, y'all, let me make something clear. If you sit back and watch something and you don't actually call it out and try to do something about it, you know you're an accomplice. So check this out. As a content creator, if you sit back and watch this footage, but you don't speak out about it, you don't educate to your audience how wrong it is, guess what? You're an accomplice too. You're just as wicked and evil as these YNs that actually jumped those two white guys. Let's go, man.
Emily, I know that they will bring in more evidence in all of this, but as you look at this is a crime scene.
Yes. First of all, I would never use words like fight or brawl. I would use words like attack, assault. I would charge this, first of all, with attempted murder.
Listen, let me address this comment right here. We got Flowers for Me saying FAFO. I'm not sure what that means. Says show the whole video from the start. Listen, let me make something clear. I know that the guy slapped him in the face, but y'all don't understand law, okay? Let me break something down to you. If somebody slaps somebody in the face, it don't warrant you to pull out a gun and unalive them. Like, does people understand how ish work out here? You cannot pull out a gun, for example, and unalive a person just because somebody come in there and slap you in the face. Now, if somebody slap you in the face, yeah, you can put hands on them. You can slap them back. You can punch them back, whatever it is. However, you cannot use excessive force. What we saw was excessive force. The guy just simply slapped him. Okay, yeah, you can throw a punch back or a slap back, but that's about it. It wasn't like the white guys was trying to beat up on him and doing that. The white guys threw a slap, and it was a disagreement. And I understand it got out of hand, and the white guy was wrong for a slap. Nobody's justifying the slap. He was wrong for putting hands on the brother. However, it was wrong and more wrong for the brothers to do what they did and for the brawl. I mean, like I said, you had the one guy that even punched the lady, the white lady that was just trying to break it up. She was trying to get in there and just help to break it up, and dude cold clocked her, knocked her out, right? Listen, Flowers, this is not that type of conversation. What if a black guy gets stopped for a traffic stop? Listen, I've already talked about that. That's not right either, but you're dealing with a whole situation. That's another conversation. You're talking about police involvement with a citizen. That's a separate conversation. What we're talking about here with the brawl is citizen to citizen. There was no police involved. So that's a whole different type of conversation. All right. I don't have time to get into all the other situations that's happened to our people. If you watch my channel, I've done content on all these situations that's happened. All the stops, all the traffic stops. I've talked about all of that. I've talked about the Montgomery brawl. I talked about a Taylor. I talked about Sonia Massey. I've talked about all these situations. So I highly suggest, if you're new to my platform, to take a look at my content. Right now, we got to stay on subject. We're talking about an average citizen. Whether you white, black, green, blue, purple, yellow, race does not matter, right? You can't put hands and use excessive force on a purpose, right? You can't do it. I don't care how pissed off you are. Listen, you got content creators right now on YouTube that advocate, if somebody slap me, they gonna pull out a gun and unalive somebody. And guess what's gonna happen to them? If they do that, they're gonna be gone for life. You got content creators that actually push that. Man, if they touch me, if they do, give me a reason to pull up my... They're looking for reasons to use excessive force. What's up, Waco? What's up, Lady G? Yeah, listen. This situation, it was excessive force. There was no reason for that for that brother to jump. Listen, own it like a man, first of all. If a man slap you, then you supposed to be a man, slap his ass back. If you gonna put hands on somebody, I mean, either walk away and take it like a man or do whatever, or follow up with it legally, I mean, really, that's the proper thing to do. But I'm saying if you're going to put hands on somebody, then you need to just slap that person back or just punch that person back. But like knocking them down, kicking them, doing a beating and stuff like that, listen, that's illegal. That's literally, listen, all those people in that video, and including the bystanders, they about to be cooked. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this. Like, they're literally about to be cooked. What's up, Nicovelli? Yeah, she says, my city, shaking my damn head. I mean, hey, listen, I'm doing this video because people got it twisted on what you could do. You think it, listen, first of all, you can't just go around putting hands on people, number one. You can't just go around going with people, number two. And you can't just use excessive force. It's not right. It's wrong. Right? It's wrong. Listen. Flowers for me. I'm about to time you out. The guy is wrong. The white guy is wrong for slapping somebody. Listen, situational awareness got nothing to do with this. People be in situations all the time doing dumb ish, right? The point is, if that black guy was so much of a man, he wouldn't have had to jump nobody. He could have handled the fight on his own. And the point is, you don't do that. This is the point. I don't care if it was a black guy around a bunch of white folks and white folks jump. You're wrong. You cannot use excessive force, right? Listen, people don't understand what's right and what's wrong. They think, oh, they said something to me, so I can go hit them, or I can run them over, or I understand how you're feeling. People get too emotional. You got a lot of guys out here that's too emotional. Now, the white guy was wrong for starting it. He started it. He did start it. Let's get this straight. He slapped the brother, so he started it. He's in the wrong. However, the brother, at best, if he was going to throw hands and lay hands, as they say, should have only slapped him or punched him. And that's it. Leave the dude, like, especially when the dude is down on the ground. Why are you still beating somebody down when they down on the ground? That's excessive. That's the same type of situation that a lot of other individuals want to get us black folks locked up over. So they want to give us a reason to do that. Let's continue with the video, right? Let's go.
We've seen what one-punch murders can be.
And let me break something down. You got to also understand the state that you're in. Every state got different laws. Listen, this guy Flowers says he didn't jump the white guy. Yes, he did jump the white guy because he was involved in the altercation. Like, this is what I'm saying. Do you understand how law works? Flowers for me. I don't think people understand how the law works. He's wrong. He put hands on old dude. That means he's involved in the jumping. In order for him to say he wasn't involved in it, he shouldn't have put hands on him. See, this is where the black guy messed up. He don't know the laws of Cincinnati. If you want to put hands on somebody, if you want to exercise your Second Amendment, you better know what state you in. You better know how the laws work. Because what's going to end up happening is you thinking that you're justified at hitting somebody or doing whatever, and then that junk come back on you. White guy be the one that's going to get paid. I'm telling y'all ain't seen nothing, and then all it's going to do is lead people to being upset, right? Right? Listen, okay, so you need to just sit down and listen, Flowers, for me. Okay? You're gonna have to just sit down and listen. You're doing too much when I'm trying to explain how things work and what's going on, right? That's what I'm trying to get out. You gotta understand. Waco, it might be a moment, sweetie. Honestly, I'm like stupid busy. Like, I don't have no kind of time. Like, no kind of time. I don't think y'all understand how busy I am. So I understand it's important. I'm like stupid busy right now. Like, I'm way behind with stuff, like a lot of stuff right now. Like, this is one of the worst times for me to be getting involved with trying to have extra time for things. So my apologies up front. When I get time, I'll definitely be able to holler at you. But right now, I'm telling y'all, anybody that know, I have no time. Like, I'm so far behind. I need some people to help me out right now. That's actually how far behind. I need help. That's why you ain't see no content coming out my channel. But anyway, let's get back to this video. I'm gonna stay on topic, but I'll get to you as soon as I can. Let's go.
This was horrifying. This deserves no place in society. Ohio State has complicit laws. So if you take part in a group beating, then everyone is responsible and on the hook.
Did you hear what they said? This is Ohio laws. The brother who put hands on old dude because he participated and took part in it, he's on the hook. Everybody that's involved, no matter what role they play, is on the hook. Even bystanders are on the hook. People be like, but I didn't touch them. I was just filming. Guess what? You're guilty by association. You're an accomplice because you weren't trying to get help. You weren't trying to stop them. This is why I'm trying to educate people. People must know the laws. We got to know the laws of the land. We want to live in the land, but then we don't know the laws.
For those that you see on those myriad cameras recording this. So I certainly would charge everyone with the attempted murder. I would charge them with felonious assault. I would charge with them everything under the book. And Harmeet Dillon is absolutely right that if the state doesn't get it right, and I'm not holding my breath, then step in with 8 charges at the federal level. This was nauseating to watch. And the amount of tiptoeing around that we have seen from anyone but the vice president and representatives of the federal authorities is so disheartening to boot. So you're telling me it was a fight when you see 100 people, 100 black people beating up 2 white people, and you're not, what if this was 100 white people beating up 2 Asian people? I think it would be pretty clear. There is no place for this in our civilized society, and the fact that Cincinnati downtown in that area was bare and devoid of law enforcement, that is on the shoulders of that police chief, Terry, and there is so much more accountability to be had. That woman was a single mother who was just attending a birthday party. Now she's fighting for her life to the cheers of those 100+ people, and now we're going to have to pay for their 3 square meals a day, by the way, in prison going on. That's what they're going to get. They're going to enjoy the royal treatment in prison. So no matter how you look at this, there's going to be zero accountability for those monsters.
Well, and that's the biggest part. We got to start taking accountability at some point. Listen, y'all, it's too much justification and too much passive allowing this type of behavior. And this is why everything is out of control. Everybody just allowing everything to happen. This takes place on social media. Content creators engage in this type of behavior. They be gang stalking. They sit up there and gang stalk one particular content creator. I've been gang stalked, so I can tell you all about it. I know other content creators have been gang stalked. And this same type of behavior, just like we saw that guy get jumped. I don't care if that guy was white, black, green, blue, purple. It's wrong. There's no way to slice it. How it took place and over what it took place, there's no justification for that use of force. None. Absolutely no use for this type of behavior at all. None. Let's go.
Unless they get a soft on crime policy deal. I mean, that's what where is the justice? Can it be meted out the way Emily said? And if the feds get involved, I totally get that. Cheers.
Let me make something clear. Flowers for me, this is not just a fight. Altercations happen, fights happen. You don't have brawls that take place every day. You don't have people that get knocked unconscious every day. You don't have things where people don't fight back like that. Like, this is a different situation. And what it exposes is how people are making justifications. Like, for example, you're actually making a justification for this because you're saying this is not a big deal. This is not worthy to talk about yet. Everybody on social media is talking about this right now. You got a tons of content creators talking about it because what this exposes is that if we don't talk about it, it's going to create issues down the road. Then you're going to have other people doing it. So let me ask you this question, Flowers for me. If this is not a big deal, what if you were in a situation like this? What if you were the woman trying to stop your man or your husband or your dad or whoever it is, your brother, whatever, that could get caught up in a brawl, and you go to try to help them and you're the woman that gets knocked unconscious? For example, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I'm making an example here. Then how you going to feel about it? See, it's easy to feel that this is not a big deal until it happens to you or until it happens to somebody you know. Then all of a sudden people care. And this is why we got to talk about it, because regardless of the reason, it does not justify the means. This does not justify, and this is exposing a lot of issues with the city, just issues across the board. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah, sickening on so many levels. We don't know the whole story, but what we do know is the police chief went out, and I saw an extraordinary press conference she gave where she tried to be blaming social media. That was the real problem. The problem wasn't this violent brawl in which so many people rounded on this guy. I don't really care how it started. Whatever it started, it ended with a horrific act of mob violence. Then you have a woman punched unconscious, could have died, like you said.
What if that woman that was punched unconscious died? And now we're dealing with manslaughter. You're dealing with a death on your hands. Them guys in that mob mentality could have killed somebody. They could have killed the white dudes. What type of actions justified them if they were to kill them? See, this is like, oh, they just got into a fight. That's it. What if those guys died? Right? What if that guy died? Or any of them died? You see what I'm saying? Then it's a whole different conversation. It goes left.
Real problem is social media, apparently, amplifying the wrong narrative about this. No, we know what we saw. And whatever built up to the moment, we then saw a horrific mass number of people rounding on one guy and a woman knocked cold. And we also saw so many phones out. You know, what has happened to our society? We have this in the UK as well. When the first thought of people, when they see a woman knocked unconscious, who may be dead, is to take a phone out and record it on their phone and then post it on their social media for likes. That is as sickening as almost any other part of this.
And then I talked about that earlier. You got these content creators who don't care about these actual issues. They're only talking about this subject just to get paid. Like, they literally just come on YouTube, and I'm not saying we don't want to get paid. You're a content creator. We all want to get paid, me included. I want to get paid too. However, I don't just get on this thing and talk about stories just because I want to check. I talk about it because there's a reason to discuss it. There's a right way to approach it and to address it. But a lot of these content creators don't care. They don't care about what happens, don't care about nothing, don't care about none of that as long as they're getting paid. Let's go.
None of them, apart from one person, call for help. One person with a woman who might be dead on the ground.
Well, and it's still not clear yet, Cheryl, if the one person was in the bank of cars that was being pushed back, the traffic that couldn't come through because this mob was blocking the way for those cars. So there were people inside those vehicles who were also witnessing this.
Yeah, and did nothing except film, to your point. You know, and that police chief coming out and saying this is social media journalism, and she was pointing her finger at the reporters in the room, I thought was so disrespectful.
Yeah, the police chief, that's a whole nother conversation, man. That's a whole nother conversation here.
And by the way, this police chief, it was just recently sued this year by 4 lieutenants in her own department for discrimination. They are 4 white lieutenants that are all suing her because they say that she has done nothing but promote minorities and women ahead of them, and they're actually taking her to court.
And see, that's the justification I'm talking about. People will pretty much overlook this story because it was a bunch of black folks jumped somebody white for putting hands on them. So they be like, oh, it's justified, it's right. Listen, okay, excessive force, regardless of who you are or your race, is not called for. Let me explain this. As police, listen, I work in public safety. Those of you that know me know this. Those of you that don't know me don't know this. You cannot use excessive force. You understand? It happens. And officers get in trouble all the time for doing it. It's no different as a civilian. You cannot use excessive force. And this was clearly a use of excessive force.
Over it.
Well, you know, the humanity aspect, obviously, only one person in 100 called the police. What does that tell you about humanity today? But beyond that, there's been a lot of frustration saying, online at least, of saying that if the races were reversed, the coverage that this would get, the immediacy of the coverage that it would get, it would be enormous. And there's statistics to back that up. The Washington Free Beacon did an examination, both pre-George Floyd and post-George Floyd, and looked at 1,100 articles from 6 major publications and found that post-George Floyd, the media was much more likely at a much significant amount to report on white offenders than they were on black offenders and naming the race. And so I do think there's documented evidence to prove that a lot of those dynamics have changed post George Floyd. But yeah, it's to see what we saw. Does it even matter the how and why of how it started?
Well, it does if we want to keep it from happening again, because Cincinnati seems a bit out of control. And to Emily's point, there were no cops around that could stop it right away. And then there were no emergency services for 6 minutes. I mean, that woman was out. That's a lot.
Where are social police?
And again, what would have happened if instead of fists and feet, people actually used guns and weapons? Then you would have had a massive brawl, a massive bloodbath. Because by them seeing in Cincinnati nothing's being done and they got that much time, then they can institute something like that. I'm not saying that's what we want to happen, but it could happen unless something's done about this.
Police officers. In other words, the public, who you could rely on in the good old days to see a scene like that and rush to that woman's help.
Right thing.
What's happened to social police work?
Daniel Penny. Yeah, Daniel Penny.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
and then you find yourself in a criminal court facing murder charges.
Or even what they did at the Ferguson effect for police officers. I mean, police officers have even been fearful to do their jobs post-Ferguson. Rahm Emanuel said that, Democrat Rahm Emanuel.
But this was gleeful, wasn't it? This was gleeful recording. We're enjoying this. Look at this.
Correct.
Give me a like.
The worst of us.
Yeah.
Hey,
And that's what people do. They'll record this stuff just to get a like. They record it just to get a view. That's what folks do. Just so that they can get a click, a like, and a view. That's what we've become. So listen, y'all, there's more to this story. I'm going to actually do an update to this. This story is far from over. I just wanted to cover it. I have some things I got to do. When I tell y'all I'm busy, I'm crazy busy. So if I get time to do more content, I will. In the meantime, I appreciate those of you that are there. This is a tough conversation, but it's one we got to have. And again, I'm going to call out all these content creators who only want to talk about this story and they want to spread misinformation and spread things that are not actually legal in terms of how you should respond to a situation like this. Those content creators need to be called out because it's clear they don't care about nobody. And if you follow their advice, you're going to get caught up in a situation too, thinking that it's the right thing because some content creator said it. And they're not giving you the facts. They're not giving it to you straight. So yeah, we're going to do all of that and more. We're going to follow up. So with that being said, y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch you in the next